Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. So, as many people are, continuously asking for the Yojana magazine summary, so we were bit engaged with something, and even ma'am is also engaged with some other stuffs. So, the daily current affairs videos and you can say other videos will be definitely upload in the upcoming, months. But as of now, we have to, keep on forward. We keep on going regarding our preparation. So I was thinking like we should start the Yojana magazine because this magazine particular has a very high weightage from mains perspective or the prelims perspective. So in today's video we are going to discuss the Yojana magazine for the month of September 2023. So as you clearly seen here, the topic of this Yojana magazine is governance and the reforms, which is very important or relevant for your GS paper 2 and ethics paper also, because in ethics paper I will tell you in further when we will discuss the things how ethics paper also has certain weightage of this particular topic. So before we are going to start the video, I request you, if you haven't subscribed the channel, please subscribe the channel and press the bell icon, and I want you to comment also regarding the topic or the subject you want us to start. We already become a family of 5,000 members, so congratulations to all of you also. It is your efforts, and because of you only we you can say we reached this goal. And but yes, we will provide you best of the best knowledge, best of the best output which you can use in your preparation. Okay, so let's start the video for the day. So first topic is NBANDU scheme, free legal aid and advice. Now, what we will do in these videos, we are going to, it's like a question answer question type of video. So first question which I'm going to ask you is, free legal aid and advice is mentioned in the Constitution, but where? Your options are fundamental rights, DPSP, okay, fundamental duties, or the preamble. Comment down your answer in the comment section below. Let's start the topic now. Under Section 12 of the Legal Services Authorities Act 1987, applicants who are marginalized or disadvantaged are entitled to get free legal aid and advice through Department of Justice Nyay Bandhu program. Okay, so there are people in the country who are unable to access to the justice, who are unable to afford the legal advisors or the lawyers or the advocates. So this particular scheme is for those people. Number second, it is a pro bono legal services, means it is free of cost. Okay, it is a free of cost services that has been developed to connect the registered lawyers with the registered beneficiaries. So registered beneficiaries are those people whose cases are already being registered in the court. Okay, remember this thing. Then this scheme gives voluntarily legal advice to individuals and organizations that are unable to afford legal advice and or cannot access to the legal aid. Okay, under this program, practicing advocates interested to volunteer their time and services are connected via mobile technology with eligible marginalized beneficiaries. So the advocates who are eligible, the marginalized people who are the eligible beneficiaries, they can come together via mobile technology, and the cases will be taken by those lawyers. So pro bono legal services are by nature means free of cost. Second article is related to the making of a bureaucrat. So bureaucracy is also under GS paper 4. That's why this particular topic or magazine is important for your GS paper 4 examination. Okay, so civil services through reforms through a capacity building approach, that is our topic name. The civil services in a democratic system is charged with the responsibility of assisting political executive. So you have to remember this thing first. the main function of the bureaucracy or the bureaucrats is to assist those political executives which are truly representative in the country. Okay, because people of the country has chosen them and they are representing the entire population of the country. So the bureaucrats who are the selected executives in the bureaucracy has to assist them in what, and now in what areas or works. Number one is framing policies, implementation those policies, programs, and governance and the welfare, and last, discharging system maintenance services. These are some of the services which has to be provided to the political executive of the country. Next is, through its successful actions, it generates public support for executive and legislative policy, and through its failings, it renders itself accountable to the instrument of the parliamentary oversight. So, what they're trying to say is the executives are the remains responsible to the parliament for their act and policies. Okay, so they have the obligations on them to being accountable to the parliament. Civil services in India, Part 14 of the Indian Constitution provides for efficient public services by creating the UPSC, that is Union Public Service Commission, and the State Commission. Now my second question to you is, in Constitution of India, in which article the UPSC or the Public Service Commission and the State Public Service Commission are mentioned? Next point is, under this, the Indian bureaucrat is a creature of the executive, subject to discipline, control, and complete superintendence. Okay, remember this. He has more space in comparison to his counterparts all over the world. Okay, serving in other parts of the world. So in India, the IAS, the IPS has more power other than the world bureaucrats. Okay, he is called upon to pray several laws. Many of those nature and scope are unambiguous, whether they are purely executive or quasi judicial. Now again one more question will come in front of you. What are these quasi judicial bodies? Why such bodies are called as quasi judicial? One such example is Finance Commission. So Finance Commission is a quasi judicial. Now this is your homework, why the Finance Commission is called as quasi judicial body. Next point is, a vast majority of the bureaucratic work occur in the role bound spaces where principles of do's and don'ts are well established. So during your Lavasana training, that is Lal Bahadur Shastri National Academy of Administration, they will also train you what are your do's, what are your don'ts when you are in front of the public. When you have to interact with the public, what are the things, what are the steps you have to take. Now there is a mission called, Karma Yogi. So we'll see first what is, why the need of Karma Yogi is there. Because as you know, most of the bureaucrats, they used to do the office work only in their older times. Only office work they used to perform in the older times. So this is the one such reason. Then why the need of Karma Yogi? Because they want to find the right man for the right job, which is quite difficult in the bureaucracy, very complex system. Second, to administer a vast heterogeneous society with complex democratic polity and as an aspirational demography, very much important, aspirational demography requires a reimagination of the civil servant, of the manner of service rendered, of the service itself. Means you should not be only in the office now, you should have to go and walk in the field. This is what the government is expecting from the upcoming civil servants. So that's why the need of Karma Yogi, Mission Karma Yogi arises. Okay. Now what is this Mission Karma Yogi that we will see? It seeks to make incremental gains through capacity building at the interference point of the civil servant citizen and by changing behavior, attitude, and ability. So this all things also you will study in the GS paper 4. That's why in the starting I told you this particular magazine, September magazine, is not only important for the GS paper 2 but also for the GS paper 4. Now, in adaptation of the existing civil service, the mission seeks to: number one, the individual through emphasis on three-dimensional skills of behavior, functional knowledge, and domain. The nature of civil service by rendering it adept and adaptive communication or the adaptive environment through upskilling. Okay. Then the quality of services delivered from a shift role. What is that shift role? That is rule to role. Means before you were doing what is written in the rule, what are the rules that you will follow, but now you have to perform your role as a being a compassionate civil servant. Now through Mission Karma Yogi, the bureaucrat who is rule bound is expected to transform into an empathetic civil servant by embracing the transformation from rule to role. It means you have to perform more better now. Now, implication of this shift from rule to role that we will see now. Number one is weakened pyramid. So this shift requires moving away from top-led supervision, monitoring and guidance towards bottom level delivery with commensurate accountability fixed at the delivery point. So what they are telling is, what will happen in today's time? It is like the boss will order something and the lower level civil servants has to perform. But by the use of this mission karma yogi, you have to deliver first, then you are answerable for what you have delivered. So you no need to take the permission from the your particular bosses. Okay, so this is a very good step here. Second, in a country as diverse as ours, we need effective command structure as well as strengthened and able capabilities at the middle and the bottom. Hence, there should be emphasis on the capability creation at the level of every individual civil servants. So, whether you are SDM, whether you are DM, whether you are Under Secretary, Joint Secretary, Secretary of a state, or even a Cabinet Secretary, your work will be consider when you have delivered that work, and basis on the accountability on that work your performance will be judged. So this is also a quite interesting or quite useful step towards the reforms in the civil services. Next is, this raises an important question also: how to transform vast number of hitherto untrained, those who are not recipient of the continuous training, unlike in the case of senior civil servant, into a lifelong learners. So those who are not the civil servant, how we will change their attitude? As you already know, in most of the government offices, how the people works, how the employees works there, how the government officers works. Sometimes they are very rude, sometimes they are very harsh towards the normal public. So this is what they're telling, because civil servant mostly they will be trained with certain training, like how you have to behave. So for them it is quite easy, but for these people it is quite difficult. Second, creating a digital learning ecosystem for infusing the spirit of lifelong learner. So the digital ecosystem can enable the target delivery to individuals and can ensure lifelong learning. Now next question is, however, how do we identify individual level requirements in a bureaucratic ecosystem such as ours? Because Indian bureaucracy is one of the most complex democracy in the world, and that's why it is quite difficult to identify the individual what type of requires skills requires for their upliftment. Next, challenges in disaggregation model named FRAC. So what is this FRAC? It is framework of roles, abilities and competencies. So identification of every job level, function level and task level skill is articulated by a novel disaggregation. Okay, so this framework maps out the various actions at different levels of the bureaucratic structure. A prototype of this framework was designed and made available by DOPT. So they are telling there are challenges in the disaggregation model, which is framework of roles, abilities and competencies. What are those challenges? Sometimes the bureaucrat, you can say there is a junior bureaucrat, there is a senior bureaucrat, and junior one is more capable than the senior one. But as per the hierarchy, he should not be acquired the space where the senior is already there. So this is what this is one of the such example I'm giving you. There are multiple, you can say, problems might be there. During COVID time, the prototype IGOT, that is Integrated Government Online Training Platform, trained nearly 1.5 million civil servants on certified courses in less than 8 to 10 weeks during April and May 2020. So UPSC is not all about clearing the examination. After clearing the examination also, you have to keep on updated yourself with the government, with the technology, with the society, with the current scenarios. Otherwise, you will be outdated and thrown out of the service. This is a noteworthy achievement, yet it is in its complexity, it was still moderate since it involved a determinate number of roles. On the other hand, a whole of government scale involves indeterminable number of tasks, means multiple complex tasks are there. So there are certain scenarios where the problems are very new to the bureaucrats. They are not trained of that. So this is also there. Okay. The challenge for the future is thus for each ministry, department, organization to take upon itself the process called internal examination and prepare its role and task set. So whether you are education department, home department, this department, that department, you only has to certify the role and the skill related task for your bureaucrats. Once this vast array of complex processes is mapped out, who will create the learning material in consumable bite sizes? This is also the next challenge. Now, you have already, okay, we will consider like the government has identified what are the concerned skill development courses we have to develop. Now, the question is who will make the material for those complex, upskilling things? Who will do the research work? Who will prepare the paperwork? Everything is also there. So, this is also a challenge. So now we'll see the conclusion. So what they're telling in conclusion, the transformation of a traditional role-bound bureaucrat into a role-driven civil servant is a long-needed reform that augurs well for the public welfare. Yes, the public welfare will happen. The spirit of the civil servant, repurposed under the National Program for Civil Services Capacity Building, is that of Karma Yogi. So Karma Yogi, a yogi who performs his karma without any thinking of the outcomes or the result, serving during the Amrit Kal of the independent India's journey towards increased prosperity. Okay, so no longer a static rule bound bureaucrat, but a driven, dynamic, empathetic, able, and compassionate civil servant. So, this is also you will study in your GS paper 4. Okay, so you will also study in your GS paper 4. So, the next article is accountability and financial administration. So accountability means what? Accountability means what? Accountability means when you have done something and you are giving whatever the facts, whatever the figures, whatever the resources you have used in a transparent manner. Sorry. Okay. So accountability of financial system is defined as system of thorough audit of the accounts in accordance with the rules of business, relevant precedents, circumstances, and the calculations. When you are providing all these things, it means you are more accountable. In India, this role is done by the body called Comptroller and Auditor General of India. It is a constitutional body under Article. Can you write in comment section? In Article 148. Okay. So accountability in financial administration is done by or done at 3 levels. Number 1 is internal audit. Okay. Within the departments only, they will conduct the audits and all these things. Second is done by the CAG. So CAG will conduct the audit and all. And third, by very important, that is legislative committees, means parliamentary legislative committees. So remember these things. Now we'll see what is this CAG is all about. So this CAG, the concept of CAG came in the year 1860. Okay, but later it got the constitutional status under Article 148 in 1950, and it has been entrusted with the keeping watch over the expenses voted on the parliament. So whatever the government is spending, whatever the government expenditures are there, that will be audited by the Comptroller and Auditor General of India. That's why CAG is also considered as the protector of the public purse. So the CAG occupies a unique position as an authority that prescribes the forms in which accounts would be rendered by the government and conduct all the receipts and the expenditures of the government. So this is the responsibility of the Comptroller and Auditor General to do the audit work regarding the accounts of the government of India. Not only government of India, but state governments also. I'll show you in the roles and responsibility. We'll discuss those things. Next is independence of CAG. So the CAG, he has a complete discretion in the discharge of his functions, including the selection of the audit issues, manner of conduct and reporting of audits, and the organizations and management of his office. So in these all things, he has the independence to do the selection of audit issues, manner of conduct and reporting of audits, and the organizations and management of his office. Remember this. Second, the business of the CAG institution is conducted through a Indian Audit and Account Department. Very important. So usually a person on a post of IAAS will be there in the Indian Audit and Accounts Department. So this is the full form of IAAS is Indian Audit and Account Services. Okay, so again same examination, UPSC Civil Services examination, via you can go in the IAAS also. Together, the CAG and the IAAD constitute the supreme audit institution of India, that is SAI. Okay, very important. Now we'll see the roles and responsibilities. So the CAG plays a key role in the public financial management space of the country. So they do the audit and all. And if you remember the scams such as 2G spectrum, okay, Colgate scam, all these scams were highlighted by the Comptroller and Auditor General in their report. Okay, remember this. It advises the government on the manner in which the account of the union and the state governments are maintained. Okay, so they will only advise the government in this way. You have to maintain the accounts. Next, while for the union government, there is a body called Controller General of Accounts, that is CGA, prepares the accounts. For the state government, it is the CAG. So until 1976, the account preparation work was done by the CAG only for the central government. But in 1976, they did the departmentalization of this particular CAG, and they have given this particular work to prepare the account for to a new body, which is Controller General of Accounts. Remember this. The accounts of the union and the state governments are subject to audit by the CAG, who submit the audited report to President of India, then Governor of State, and one more person is there, that is Administrator of the Union Territories having Legislative Assembly or not having Legislative Assemblies, both. Remember this thing. CAG has a nationwide audit mandate. So in all the three tiers of the governance or the structure of the governance, he has the power in what manner the auditing will be there, whether it's a union government, state governments, or the local bodies. Remember this. Now next is the audit jurisdiction includes attached subordinate offices, autonomous bodies, statutory authorities, and the public sector undertakings. So this is the some of the attached ministries, attached department offices where the CAG has the power to audit the accounts. The CAG audit report presented to the Parliament state legislatures are selected by the legislative committee for the detailed examination. So parliamentary committee, they will do the detailed examination. Now again one more question, which parliamentary committee will do this detailed examination? Okay, so this is your homework. So please tell in the comment section, pause the video, and now only you can comment here which parliamentary committee do the detailed examination of this particular report. The CAG function as a friend, philosopher and guide to the legislative committees by suggesting topics of focus and highlighting issues of concern. I told you not 2G scams, Colgate scam, all these scams were highlighted by the CAG in their reports, and that's why we got all these things. Now, types of audit conducted by CAG. Number one is financial asset audit, to ascertain the accuracy and correctness of the financial systems of the entity. Okay, whatever the entity is there, whether the government or other bodies or the private bodies also. So this is the first function, to do the financial audit. Second is compliance audit, means to check adherence to applicable rules, regulations and procedure, whether the money is spent properly with rules, with proper permissions or whatever. Third, performance audit, that is whether the system within the entire entity operate with economy, efficiency and effectiveness, means the corruption and all these things. So these three type of audit will be done by the CAG. Now significance we will see. So audit efforts propel good governance by way of policy changes, design improvements, etc. Yes, definitely. So CAG will highlight in this particular area the performance is underdue, so you have to perform well there. Audit reports on tax receipts contains instances of underassessment of taxes, non-recovery of receivables and the losses that necessitate recovery from the concerned parties. So audit report on tax receipt has all these things, where the underassessment of taxes there means tax is not collected properly, or it is collected you can say lower than which will be expected. Okay, non recovery of receivables like loans and all, NP and all these things you will study in your GS paper 3, that is economy. And the loss that is necessitated means the loss assets and all these things. Based on a report receipts during 2021-22, the union and state government accepted that recoveries of 25,571 crore needed to be made. So you can use all these points in your mains answer. So this is one what they are telling. Okay, next is CAG audit of receipts has also proved instrumental in ensuring that the public funds are released in accordance with the prevailing laws, means the rule of law has to be prevailed here. For example, the audit raised observations relating to the absence of provisions in the Income Tax Act, non-levy of penalties, etc. Means there, whatever the audit raised observation relating to the absence of the provision in the Income Tax Act, non-levy of penalties, etc. means whatever the Income Tax Act is there, whatever the non-levy of penalties are there, it all should be properly observed. In response, the government made amendment in the Income Tax Act, and later on government amended the Income Tax Act, and whatever the flaws were there they have included. Similarly, CAG conducts audits of the government companies in which classification errors, misstatements, irregularities requiring rectification in the financial systems and issues in corporate governance are highlighted. So one more you can say role is also there. Now reforms in public financial administration. So as you know, this is the era of digitalization. So government also moved from, or you can say, a manual work to a digital world. So there is a system called integrated financial management system, that is IFMS, which is a comprehensive payment, receipt, accounting and management information system. Okay, this is all about IFMS. This has enabled the transparency in financial administration by increasing the visibility of all transactions. So very important. So this is the reason why the CAG got, you can say, an advantage. Why? By digitalization. Okay, so by making a system called IFMS, now more accountability, more transparency, more visibility is there in the system. Next is automation of other governance mechanisms such as electronic filling of tax returns. As you know, electronic fillings are there, EITR and all these things. Assessments, toll collection system, FASTag, very much important. Now one more question coming into my mind, that is, on which scientific, you can say, where I write, here I'll write, on which scientific principle FASTag works. Okay, FASTag works on which principles of science or which application of science. Next is Bharat Kosh. Kosh means what? Kosh in Hindi means, Kosh in Hindi means where it's like a treasury. So Bharat Kosh is India's treasury. Then DBT. DBT you already know. The PM Kisan Yojana. They will get the DBT, direct benefit transfer. Okay, 2,000 rupees every fourth month they will get in their bank account. ENAM, National Agriculture Market, connecting all the market across the India. So that is ENAM, very important for your examination again. Has further enhanced the transparency in the public financial management and enabled better accountability and mechanisms. Remember, on the audit side, the adoption of data-led approach to auditing has facilitated faster delivery and improved the quality of outcomes. So yes, it is quite true. Since digitalization, the things are getting more and more, you can say, feasible, more and more easier to use, and more time, you can say, saving. Okay, an instrument an institutional framework for the digital audit of GST revenues has also been established. Then, further, government reforms in financial administration have been a major focus area for performance audit in the recent past. For example, CAG institution has conducted or is conducting several audits of the direct benefit transfers to assess the efficacy and the efficiency of the system. Okay, so remember this, CAG even doing the audit of the direct benefit transfer also, like whether the direct benefit transfer is being reached to the public or not. So this would be helpful in strengthening the controls in IT systems of the government for enabling timely payment to authentic beneficiaries, preventing pilferages, duplicate payments, and etc. So the people who are actual the beneficiary, they should get the benefits. So this particular digitalization is helping in that. This direct benefit transfer is helping in that. Okay. Audit of financial systems in government schemes such as MG Narega and all, PM Awas Yojana, Deen Dayal Upadhyay Gram Jyoti Yojana, Gramin Jyoti Bima Yojana, all these things. So Bhagya scheme, Har Ghar Bijli Yojana. Okay, so all these will conducted in a systematic issues, highlighted also by the CAG. So I think the video is going to be, little bit longer, so we will stop this here only. We'll conclude here. We will see what is the conclusion, and we will finish the part 1. In the part 2 we will discuss the parliamentary committee, strengthening the scope and role and the other stuffs. So fundamental beliefs in the institutional values: professionalisms, competence, social awareness, and commitment to prove credible assurance on the collection, utilization of public resources are the key components that support the legacy of a prestigious institution of CAG in the country. Okay, and that too, they act as the torch bearer of good governance in the country. So please go through these videos and make your own notes. If you want to, further down make your own notes, you can pause the videos and take your own notes. So in next video we are going to study the parliamentary committee and the other stuffs which are mentioned below. Okay, so thank you everyone. Please do subscribe the channel, and if you already watched the video till here, please share with your friends also who are preparing for the civil service examination. Thank you.